I'm blessed in the house. Here to take that flow back to the old school. You know, the original hip-hop sound. Mixed with some of that Christ flow. It's been a long time. Yeah, I'm back to point and had to reposition my frame to clear a vision, cause the devil playing mind games. They're not the loop for a minute to see, but I never lost touch of what benefits me like Christ. The job is over, so he leads me to the water. And reminded me I'm doing most of this for my daughter. But God is in control, and they say I'm getting old, but I make these haters blind like Jesus in water. This is my passion, don't confuse it with them stepping stones. My 9 to 5 is just a bridge to get myself along. I tried to walk away, but couldn't leave myself alone. So now I got my ears tuned to a different song. Yeah, I've been the underdog, but now I want it all. A father in heaven, the other one is not involved. And so I turn over my cares like it was the law. And let the judge send his ruling, now I'm just in awe. Stay in the lane, a dope beat, pen in the pad, not gonna sing. A telescope could see that I'm waiting about to rain. I'm so far gone, no drink, y'all know my name. Sierra so blessed in the house, I'm not perfect. Oh, you are not working. Oh, Christ is so worth it. The church so perfect like you. Look at these people, they hot, smoking no reaper. When they having these babies, they got the money to feed them. Dudes be on the corners, girls working the poles. Lifestyle of a sinner, let the judgment unfold. Remember way back when you were one of them? Before you knew who Christ was, you were bound to sin. Remember way back when you were one of them? Before you knew who Christ was, you were bound to sin. So why you try to act like you always been the same? There's no levels to this stuff, so I'm going in. Yeah, the judge, my message don't receive what I'm coming with. But know my witness got rich like a selfie stick. But they don't know that he's the reason this stuff exists. Yeah. Always been a jokester. Know that that's the kid in me. These other clowns be megabiting. Just to get a deal, you see, I never understood what so many people like to me. Mom says my comments, I think it's the price of me. Beastly on the microphone, like the type of records be. Many people copy, but there's only one type of me. So I gave this beat work like a manager. Yeah, I tried to label one, but they couldn't handle her. Two beats like cannibals. Wordplay is out this world, not a mediocre flow. I am not the average girl, hungry than a feeding ya. All on social media. If you got connects, tell them book me like a media. Diamond in the reference like Christ with the Derek. Yeah, I want you to hear it. Like it repost and Jared. Unlikely to go by Derek. My people so generic. They filling you overall, but can't handle the specifics. I'm a liver though. Yeah, that's Virginia and me. She's a nobody. Yeah, that's the image of me. Until I spit something nice. Now they imaging me. It's like the see I'm representing something bigger than me. And so I figure this beat is only meant to just eat. When I'm taking the time, I'm enjoying the seat. Cause gathering is a crime. When you go against me, cause I'm a child of the king. Fall down to my feet. My feet. My feet. My feet.
All right, it's your boy, comedian Edwin Douglas, and you are on You Heard Me First radio talk show. That's right, we are on iheart-radio, Spotify.com, as well as Spreaker, and then always on demand with YouTube and Google Podcasts. Well, we got a great special episode, and before I introduce you my guest, let me bring in my DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from South Carolina, which is my home root. Yes, she is a Christian hip-hop artist. She is a songwriter. She is a producer and much more. Please welcome to You Heard Me First radio talk show, the one and only Sierra Bless in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. I've been following you for a long time. I'm that guy that be in the background. I see everything. Trust me. And you have a track record for producing, for performing. You're very gifted. You're very talented. That you are. So me saying you're welcome. Me saying all that, tell us the first time that you ever picked up the mic and you wanted to do music?
Oh, man. So here's the crazy thing. Last night we had an event at my church called the House of Swatter, and it's like something that they do every now and then for the women's ministry, and it's an open mic. And we had it last night, and I think this is probably like we've probably been doing it for about 10 years now. And in 2013, they had a House of Swatter event, and that was my first time ever touching a microphone, getting on stage in front of everybody, and doing, what it is that I had a passion for doing. Just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I have been wanting to do music since I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was doing poetry, and I was submitting poetry to different things and, winning different little small prizes for poetry, because I've always had a love for songwriting. And I think I kind of fell in love with like hip-hop, rap music once I was a teenager, probably around 13, 14 is when I really like fell in love with that music. And I was like, oh, that's kind of where my flow is with rap. I don't know how to sing, so so that was when I first fell in love with it. But I had always been writing. I have probably like tons and tons of notebooks that I just have a bunch of lyrics and songs that I wrote. And to me, it was just a hobby to write, and I never knew that I would really do anything with it, even though I had dreams of doing something with it. So I got saved in 2009, and a lot of the content that I had written prior to that, I realized that it wasn't going to work with my lifestyle, So I was like, okay, well, I can't be talking about this stuff, and I'm a Christian now. So, of course, I didn't really know what to do. I still was writing. And, I noticed my content started changing as my love for God grew and, continued to grow. And my relationship started getting deeper with God. And I was just like, okay, my lyrics are changing, but I'm like, I still didn't know what to do with it. So that opportunity came about when they had the event called the House of Swatter at my church. Shout out to Right Direction Church International. But they had that event. I wrote something for it. It was an open mic. I went on stage and I, did my little piece in front of everybody there. And there were a couple of people in the audience who, after I finished, they linked up with me. One of them happens to be my ministry leader for a children's church, and she actually asked me to do something for the kids at church. And she's like, you've been sitting on your gift and sitting on your talent. You didn't tell us you had all this talent, So I was like, oh, man. So that kind of really birthed my music ministry, and I shared that last night. We had another event last night, and I shared it with them, and I let them know that, that same event is actually what birthed my music ministry. So, yeah, I've always had a love for music. Didn't really actively pursue it until 2013 when I actually had to go into the studio to record something for the kids. So it just kind of went on from there.
Okay, and I can tell. That's why I said at the beginning of our conversation that you're very gifted and talented, and most individual who does poetry can elevate and take their gift to a whole nother level. And I can hear in you, and then as you just said, that your lifestyle started changing. You started having closer relationship with God. Mm-hmm. So God was with you the whole time. And yes, so nothing just doesn't happen for nothing. Okay? Right. God controlled and allowed things for his purpose. And I think, you ran right into it. As you said, you didn't know what to do with it. But God knew exactly what was going to happen because of your faith. Speaking on your faith, when you did your first performance And like you just said, when you put that mic down and walk in the audience and the minister or the pastor, when they said what they said, what was the first thing that came to your mind? Was it confirmation? Or just tell us what the first thing that came to your mind.
Well, I think it was a little bit of confirmation, but mixed with I was scared. So that because that was my first time being on stage ever in front of everybody, I was nervous. And the song that I did was it was a very deep and personal song. It was just me sharing a story, kind of going into you know, how I've been in some dark places and how I felt when I was in those dark places, and you know how God came in and. Well, not came in, you know, but I realized and got the revelation that, you know, God was there with me. He had always been with me, and he saved me. So I kind of turned it around, you know, but me having to share that on stage, I was nervous, number one, because it was my first time on stage, but number two, because it was real personal. And so when I got off stage and I spoke with, she was a minister over, she's a children's church leader at the time, and she came to me and spoke to me. I was kind of shocked in a bit because I also didn't know if people had liked it. You know, I think as creatives, we want people to like our stuff. We want them to like our music. We want them, and so we kind of have this, you know, fear of, okay, did they like it? I don't know if they liked it or not. And so it was confirmation, number one, because she thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, you know, the excitement that she had, it made me excited, and I was full of joy, you know, as well. But I was also nervous. And when she asked me to do something for the kids, I was like, oh gosh, like, okay, here we go, we started. And, you know, it was a lot of emotion at one time. I remember being excited because I knew I had to go into a studio from that point in order to record a song for the kids. I knew I had to write a song that, you know, would be catered for the kids for this event that she wanted me to do it for. And so it was a lot of emotion at once, but probably the top two emotions I remember having was being scared and also being, you know, full of joy because I guess, and confirmation because, you know, she did kind of, you know, she came to me and it's like, okay, it's like a relief as well, like, oh, she likes it, you know, which means that they do like it. Okay, you know, so sometimes it can be hard out here as an artist, just as a creative period, because, you know, like I said, you take your time and you make this content, and you know you're doing it. Ultimately, you're doing it for Christ, but you also have to be able to have, you know, show some type of talent, display your talent without straying from the message, I guess, and so. That's another reason why I was nervous, because I was like, okay, I shared a lot of deep and personal things, you know, and, you know, being that, you know, we were in a room full of women, we were very supportive regardless, but, you know, so there's, you know, I know they're going to be nice regardless, but I didn't know if they would really like it. So it was confirmation, and I was happy, but I was also scared.
Well, you know,
like, hey, this is the beginning.
Well, you know, that's how God works, and you said something that you was in a room full of women. Speaking as women, as I said earlier, I followed you for a minute. Great relation with my kinfolk, Kyle Eden, and the other women that you ladies had put a smooth transition of different gift and talent and showcasing in the video. And I think your daughter was one of them as well.
Well, that wasn't my daughter. That was Miss Chosen's daughter.
Okay, right. And so that's what really caught my attention, and I've been following you ever since then. And just waiting on you to put some videos out for yourself, and you know, I didn't want to go to Kyle and say, hey, you know, I said, no, I'm gonna wait, you know. So I like what I see what you're doing, and But what I would like to ask you is, how would you self-taught from the mic, performing for the first time, and then making the transition into the studio? I call it more of an engineer. How do you educate yourself how to do recording studio?
Okay, this is another thing that kind of ties into my church. I've always wanted to. So it's been a dream of mine, but I didn't know if I would pursue it. Probably since I was a teenager, I had an interest in becoming a studio engineer. One of the people that I look up to in the secular world was Missy Elliott, and she produces, she does songwriting, she raps, and she also sings, but that's one thing I can't do. But just looking at her, and I was just like, I like everything she does, and I remember I specifically remember a video I watched on YouTube or something, and I saw her sitting in a studio, and she was doing an interview. And she was going, she was talking, and then they were also showing where she was working on the soundboard. And I was just like, man, I would love to be in a studio. I want to have my own recording studio. So once I joined my church, and typically when you join, they want you to sign up to volunteer somewhere. So I was like, I didn't want to just volunteer anywhere. I knew I was going to do children's church, but I also wanted to pick something that I had an interest in. So sound ministry was something that I had an interest in. So 2010, January, is when I started working or volunteering in the sound ministry at my church. And we were, so during church we were working the soundboard. At the time it was an analog board, but I was becoming interested in how to work the board, and eventually we went over to a digital board. So I had that over the years. I had that experience of working on a soundboard, and I also had in the back of my mind, even though I had pushed it kind of far away, that I also wanted to one day own my own recording studio. So I don't think while I was working in sound ministry at the time, I wasn't thinking about the studio. It was just like, okay, this is something I love doing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So once, I think maybe a couple of years ago, I started really thinking about what do I really want to do. And so I knew it started to come back to me yes, I really do want to have my own recording studio. I want to be able to, excel in my music and things like that. And so I think it was early last year, I ended up having a kind of daydream. It might be dangerous, but I had a daydream while I was driving. And and it was crazy. It's like God dropped it in my spirit that, I needed to have, it was a lot of things at once, but in a nutshell, that I needed to go ahead and start my business. And so I had been fighting it, and I guess fast forward to about July, I ended up speaking with a fellow brother in Christ of mine, and was telling him how I wanted to start my business, but I was just intimidated about doing it. I didn't think I was adequate enough to do it, didn't have a business degree, and on the website, even me looking at the website at the steps you had to take to do it, I was intimidated. And he just basically showed me, he was like, it's not as hard as you think. So he showed me the steps, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I went home, I think that week. By the end of that week, I think is when I had my, I went ahead and paid for my business license. And God is so good, because the people who I've developed relationships with and who I have connected with over the years, all I did was just share my business license on Facebook that I had a business. And when I did that, I had one of my sisters, she hit me up and she said, we got to have a grand opening for you, and so glory to God, we had that grand opening, and from there I connected with one person. He asked me, was I believing God for studio equipment? I was like, yeah. It kind of shocked me. but he told me he would give me a microphone. So just in him offering to give me that microphone, within a month, I just had random people hitting me up to give me different pieces of equipment. And, like, even down to my grandparents, you know, they were able to bless me with some money so I can get the rest of my equipment. And other people gave me equipment. Like, every single piece of equipment that I have, you know, I was able to get that, and I didn't have to come out of pocket with it. And so it was like God was just showing me, like, see, when you're obedient, you know what I'm saying? Like, the blessings just keep on flowing. They just keep flowing. So I have now, it's like, okay, I have a whole recording studio now. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, wow, like, if I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It's more of,
just do it.
it's more of, if you heard what you said, I know you know what you're saying. Sometimes we say it, sometimes the Spirit leads us to say things, but that one word, obedient.
Obedience, yes.
Obey your faith, be obedient, and the word. Now, I tell people a lot what the purpose of the word. The word is not for Sierra. The word is for the Holy Spirit inside of you. Okay?
Right.
All God said, trust, believe, and obey. And He'll take care of the rest of it. That's just like saying you got your car a full tank of gas. Okay?
Right.
And you know that you need a full tank of gas to make it throughout the week based on where you're going. Now, if you know that gas tank is getting low, common sense going to tell you need to put some more gas in that car to get to your destination.
Exactly.
Same thing with the word, okay?
Yep.
So the word is in you, and you are able to deliver with the mic, the studio, the student, your brother and sister in Christ. So when you focus and obedient, God lay hands on other people for your divine favors. Okay, so that's what that was when you said, oh man, this, your parents, your grandparents, friends, this guy here, a microphone, because of your obedience. You know, so you said another thing that you beat me to it. Yes, you have the style just like Missy Elliott. Yes, you do, because of I can tell that you put a lot of time into producing, writing, directing videos. Okay, I can see it, the quality, and I said, wow, I know she knows what she's doing. You know, because it's you know, you only have several that I can tell that you put your foot in it. You know, sometimes we collaborate with other people and we try to go along with their ideas, but I can tell when you put your foot all the way in it, you know. So, I'm telling you, I'm around entertainment. You know, I'm like you, I can't sing. You know, I'm a comedian and I do other things, but at the same time, when you put your foot in it, you let it be known. People can tell that, oh, yes, Sierra did this, you know, this is her thing. So,
I think at some point, too, I had to learn that people will not take you seriously unless you take yourself seriously. And so I had to, you know, I had to have faith that God placed this gift in me for a reason. And it wasn't just for me, it was for other people. And so I keep that in my mind, that my gift is not for me, and that everything is not about me. That song that you played at the beginning of the show, Bigger Than Me, that's kind of what that is supposed to be about anyway, but it's bigger than me. And, you know, so it's not just about me, it's about other people that I'm going to touch and impact and be able to positively affect. So I have to keep that in mind. So, so definitely.
So, since you've been doing this for God, and since you made a commitment to God to do His will, tell us what are some of the trials and tribulations that you may have gone through that is the possibility it's made you so mad that you want revenge, or maybe, if so, maybe you thought about trying something else? Just tell us some of the trials and tribulations that made you become a better person, a better woman of God today.
Well, I'll tell you this. So one challenge, or a couple of challenges that I may have faced, is the battle of, like I mentioned this earlier, but being a creative person, you want people to like what it is that you produce, right? Mm-hmm. And so because whatever it is that you have that you're working on, you work on it, and that's your passion, and then you present it, and you want people to like it. But, everybody's not going to like what you do, and that's okay. That's something that I had to learn, number one. Number two, I also, because of the fact that what I do is for God, and I'm a Christian, I call myself a Christian rap artist. I'm not really big on labels, but you can tell based on the music whether or not I say Jesus in every line or in every song. Mm-hmm. If you know me and you know my music, then you know I'm a Christian. So that's why I'm not so big on labels. You can call it what you want. Some people call it gospel rap, Christian rap. Some people say inspirational rap, artist, whatever. Mm-hmm. But being that I'm in that lane, or kind of, people put you in a bubble anyway, but mm-hmm. because I'm in that, it's certain avenues is kind of hard to navigate down because, some people say it's too churchy for certain events or for certain radio stations, and, when sometimes in the church it's like it's too secular for, the church. Like, it was a struggle. I'm not going to say a struggle, but I could tell it was changing. But sometimes I noticed, like in the beginning when I first started doing music, I noticed the difficulty of people accepting rap, Christian rap. They're listening to the beat and not listening to the lyrics. And so it's like it's the same exact message, the same lyrics. You hear the word all throughout the song, but I guess because of the instrumentation behind it, it's like, okay, that you get people who look at you sideways like, okay, what are you doing? So that was a challenge I saw in the beginning. But one thing I've learned since I've been doing it, and I'm kind of grateful to God for, is that I had to come to grips and understand that God placed His gift in me. This is something that I have a passion for. I love God. I love Christ. Like, I'm not just out here doing it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Christ is in me. So I have to use that and hold on to that, and just know that what I'm doing, I'm not leading people astray. That and people love the music. Like I said, you have to be able to demonstrate your abilities without straying away from the message, because at the end of the day, only what you do for Christ will last. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I have to remember that. And there have been times where I've wanted to say, okay, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And then it's like I get myself together like, no, because God has been with me this whole time. Like, how can I not serve Him with my gift? You know what I'm saying? So I think that has, and just having the experience, I guess, with doing different events and, connecting with different people, all of that. And another thing that's important is community, like having a community of brothers and sisters who, have your back, who are not just going to talk about you. Like if you mess up or you slip up, they hold you accountable. Everybody's not going to do that, but you have a select few who will. And even outside of that, you have some other people who you may not talk to them every day, you may not talk to them every week. You might even only talk to them a couple times a year, but either way, they will hold you accountable, and they're there for you. And I think having that support system is important as well. Even if, regardless of whether they support your music, they support you. So I think that's something that's important in helping us to, become, well, as far as speaking for myself, helping me to become a better person. And, I just roll with it. I mean, God has been good. I've been surrounded by favor. I've noticed it since I started, and so I'm just grateful for that.
Well, I'm gonna bless you with any advice. When God brought me out the comedy club to make transition to do Christian comedy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was labeled before I crossed over, okay? But God gave me a label for the ministry that He designed for me, and it was gospel soul stand-up comedy. Everybody know what the word gospel is. To go tell it like it is. So when I made that transition in Tampa, Florida, my first performance, I did not have a clue how they were going to respond, but I had sense enough to do exactly what God told me to do. Because of the life that I came out of, the transition, because before I was using profanity, but God had cleaned me out and say, I brought you out of it. Tell the people what happened, and I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to be with you the whole way. So I've learned, I was just like what you were saying, trying to say, if they don't like it, what if they don't like it? But at the same time, I heard the voice of the Holy Spirit go right ahead. I got you. So what I'm saying is the market. You have to study the market that you're in. And you're only there for a season. Like, for an example, I'm out here in Dallas, Texas, okay? And when I came back to Texas, I knew how hard it would be because people in different ministries did not have an open mind. Okay, they wanted to support the old school choir. There's nothing wrong with that. Praise dancers, nothing wrong with that. But like you were saying, when it came to Christian hip hop or hip hop music or comedy, where they were so quick and so fast. Well, we don't do that here. Not giving you a chance. I mean, you ain't even heard me open my mouth yet. Let me give you this DVD, or let me give you this link. Well, I don't do the internet. You know, we don't have time for that. Okay, so I said, so that pissed me off. So what I did was, I went to God. I said, okay, God, you told me to go knock on their door. Now, what I need you to do is open the gate of heaven and command the angel of decision making. And then when I go back, I need to talk to the right person. So what I found out, sometimes we go to the wrong person. Okay, God sent you to go here so you can perform, okay? But you have to watch out for the people in the church. Like, you got Christian folks and you got church folks. The one that be tripping and hating them church folks, okay? The Christian folks, okay, they're going to be obedient to God because God already spoken to them that they're going to have a visitor, okay? Because something they prayed for or looking for was for the kids, those kinds of things. So by you being in South Carolina is a great, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, D.C., Baltimore are great market for Christian gospel entertainment. Why? Because the market is wide open. Okay? So remember, where you are, it's not temporary. You have to make that transition in the market every season so people can hear the work that God put in you. And our purpose is to drive people, His children, to Christ. It's that simple. It's that simple. And you got it. That's why you're cold-blooded. That's why it sounds good. That's why, because the greatness is in you. So you don't have to prove anything to anybody. That keep doing what you're doing. And I promise you, once you and God sit down and have that meeting, okay, God, I've been surrounded in South Carolina. I'm in the studio here. Now is my time. Where do you want me to go? Take me where I need to be so your name can be heard. That's what that's all about. And so when you travel and perform and entertain, and when God sees you step out on faith again, like you did at the beginning from poetry to the mic to the studio, now in the ministry, don't forget that the church building, practice, but the church is really in you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are church.
That's it. So before we let you go, tell everyone what you got coming up, how you can be contacted if they want to book you. The mic is yours. Go right ahead.
Okay. I do have an event coming up right now. It'll probably be the last event for the year, I'm pretty sure. But it's a fashion show. It's called This Is Us Fashion Show. It's being presented by my business, Blessed in the House Entertainment. And it's Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. It will be at Right Direction Church International Family Life Center. And we are going to have an amazing time. I have 8 different clothing brands and stylists that will be represented. If you follow me on social media, which I'll give you that information in just a second, but you'll see that I'm kind of heavily promoting it right now. So definitely go on Eventbrite. You can get your tickets there. Tickets are only $10. It's $20 for VIP, but I think I only have like 2 VIP spaces left. So I probably shouldn't have said anything about VIP because I don't think I might have any more, really. But $10 for the ticket. But my social media handles on Facebook, you can find me at Cierra-house. It's CIERRA House. My artist stage name is Sierra Blessed in the House. But Facebook, they want you to use your real name, so it may be they may be using real names. But I do have an artist page as well. It's Sierra Blessed in the House, and it's Blessed, Blessed, the letter N and the letter D and the letter A. So Blessed in the. Also on social media, my business page is Blessed in the House Entertainment. That's on Facebook. And then on Instagram, at Sierra Blessed in the House is my personal page, and then my business page is at Blessed in the House Entertainment. I believe that's it. I have Twitter, but I really don't use Twitter. So other than that,
don't feel bad about Twitter. I think a lot of us are getting away from Twitter.
I think so.
Because President Donald Trump is abusing it.
Right. So yeah, I don't use Twitter, but you can find me on any digital music outlet. If you search Sierra Blessed in the House, you'll see me. I heard somebody say this before, but I am Googleable. So if you Google me, you'll find all my information on there. So if you want to find my music, it's Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere, SoundCloud. YouTube. If you go on YouTube, I have videos out there. I think I did my first video back in 2015, and I have, different music videos out there. So, and I will be working on new music starting next year.
Okay.
Well, I'm working on the music, but I'll start putting out more music starting next year. But right now, my focus is this fashion show that's coming up in November. So,
okay. I want you to keep this in mind. Mm-hmm. I'll tell all my guests, this is your new home. I have support staff. We have access to all 200 countries. Okay. A lot of people get so caught up in the views of YouTube. What they don't know, they call like ghost numbers. Okay, so you got to be very careful with that. So I have support staff that goes around YouTube, but we have access to all 200 countries. And so anytime you got anything going on, coming up, you want to promote, feel free to share on my page. I get it. The other 3 people who supported me, they'll get it, and we will share it, and we will be supporting you after we hang up. We'll be supporting you every week. That's what we do. I have a total of 84 episodes. Yes. And what we do after we interview everyone, we continue to post the interview for the next 7 days. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it will always be on demand. So this is your new home, and I want to say keep up the good work. I'm not going to say anything now, what and when, but the boy, comedian Edwin Douglas, and I got a special entertainer coming along with me. We'll be in South Carolina in 2020. I'm not going to say where, but I will let you guys know. And I'm not going to say Edwin Douglas blessed in the house. I'm going to say Edwin Douglas going to change the game in the house. So, so I'll keep you guys posted. Keep y'all posted. Yes.
Good.
But once again, thank you. Anything that you want to say before you go?
No, I mean, that was it. I appreciate you for having me on the show again, and I'm excited about what's to come, and definitely make sure you let me know whenever you know when you're going to be in South Carolina, and I will definitely come support. I'll be excited for that.
Yes. Well, thank you. You take care. Keep up the good work, and God bless you. And I'm loving you even more because now I personally know how you got in the game with our Father in heaven. Yes.
Amen.
Well, you take care, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
You too. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, we're going to take show some more love for our guest, Sierra Bless in the house. And we'll come back. We'll be right back on Uheardme1st Radio Talk Show. You heard me? Don't you guys go away too far.
Over here. I've been going for a while, it's manifesting over here. I'm the G. stop the hate and start invincible. My leaders make me feel invincible. I'm on my tip tonight. They celebrate with my success, but that is also kryptonite. You're not careful, then these praises, they get to you. People crazy, they get to you. Evil ways, they make it to you. So keep praising, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
All right, it's your boy, comedian Edwin-Douglas, and we are back on Uheardme1st radio talk show. That right there is a jam that I'm falling in love with, cierra-house, blessed in the house. I love her work. Uncle Ben, what do you think? Uncle Ben, I fell in love with her work also. Uncle Ben. Yes, I've been following her for a long time, and as you heard me said before, that she has that style of Mr. Elliott, more of talented, gifted, very creative, and we are going to continue to support her. Of course, family from South Carolina is my home root, and that's what we do, Well, now we have Uheardme1st update news. Before we do that, could I have my drum roll, please, Uncle Ben? For those who've been following us, y'all know that's not a real drum. That's, Uncle Ben, he's pretty gifted to his tongue. Uncle Ben, you trying to be funny, Uncle Ben. No, that's why we're using you as an instrument. You are gifted. Anybody can pop their tongue like that, boy. You must take that whole thing to a whole nother level. You just keep doing what you're doing. Somebody's going to discover you. Nah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you out like that. But Uncle Ben, you got jokes. Uncle Ben. Well, no, I wasn't trying to be funny. This is me. But it's all good. But speaking of update news, Uheardme1st update news. We have upcoming event. That's right, your boy, comedian Edwin-Douglas, will be in Tampa, Florida, October 27th. The tour continues. Can y'all church folks handle the truth? That's the theme, that's title, the Comedy Bible. Also, for those who missed last week's episode, I did make an announcement that our new co-host, the Boudin Man, and we'll be back to our regular scheduled program every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But today's episode is a special episode, Monday, and every now and then we'll do a double header, not necessarily 2 episodes in one day, but most likely on a Monday, Sunday, and then Monday. So what else we got going? Oh, I want to thank everyone for supporting us on iheart-radio, Spotify.com, Spreaker. And also, you can go on YouTube and Google Podcasts, because we are always on demand. Yes, if you missed the episode, you can always log on. Uheardme1st radio talk show, and believe me, it will pop up. Yes, it will. And one more thing before we go. When we come back next Sunday, we will have phenomenal guests. I try to go get politicians, lawyers, doctors, pastors, athletes, filmmakers, and, we're going to get bigger and bigger. And I just don't just get anyone, but we have to have a story and a testimony. This is not church. This is Uheardme1st radio talk show. And for those who don't understand this platform, no problem. Let me explain. Uheardme1st radio talk show is a 1-hour platform that brings in real people that are going to tell real stories, to bring in people that enjoy music and also want to get their laugh on. That's what we do here. Yes, we do. So to let you know, we will play gospel music, soul music, R&B, hip-hop, jazz, country music, as well as blues and coming soon reggae music. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Uncle Ben, you have anything you want to say before we go? Uncle Ben, I'm so excited with our new co-host, the Boudin man. Can't wait for him to come back to work. I really had a good time with him. Uncle Ben. Well, okay. Well, that's all the time that we have for the special episode. For those who did enjoy this special interview with our guest, cierra-house, Sierra Bless in the House. As she said, you can look her up, Google her, and she will pop up. But in the meantime, until next time, I want everybody to keep in mind, don't forget to tune in every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for a new episode. Until next time, peace, and may God bless you.
I ain't talking just to talk what you heard about me. If it ain't about God, then it ain't about. See, I was made by the king and let the king in. I know the haters only hate words that he can't. Now go ahead and know what your lies and your plots to block. He holding me up high to sit on top of him. Although my enemies surround me, it's shooting my side. I'm inspired how they think they can do my side. Look here, you mad about this and I'm just scratching the surface. I'm telling through the savage just to get to my first. And when you really think about it, it's just you that you hurting. Trying to knock me down and throw my name in the dust. He said the last will be first and the first will be last. I stand where I stand with my heart and the flesh. I am who I am, doing only what I can. Where I'm weak, he's stronger than any mortal man. Yes, you know. Yeah, that's the one that I'm always on. The one that gave me life. The one that wanted to say no. The one that opened doors. That kept me legs closed. He keep me on my toes, so I go wherever he goes. Yeah, now ain't no hiding the righteous, no. And I don't care if you don't like me. So I came to say what's not didn't come to make friends, so don't waste my time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This has been another great episode on Uheardme1st Radio Talk Show. Until next time, peace and may God bless you.